Russia's FSB claims it thwarted a Ukrainian intel op, allegedly backed by British handlers, to hijack a MiG-31 with a Kinzhal missile and provoke NATO by flying it toward Romania's Constanța airbase. Supposedly, $3 million was offered via personal bank transfer. Another cartoonish FSB story to justify recent Kinzhal strikes on Ukraine. Russia's Federal Security Service said it had foiled a plot by Ukrainian and British spies to tempt Russian pilots to steal a MiG-31 jet armed with a Kinzhal hypersonic missile for $3 million, state media reported. The RIA news agency cited the FSB as saying that the hijacked jet was to be flown toward a NATO airbase in the Romanian city of Constanța, where it could have been shot down by air defenses, the agency reported. The FSB, the main successor to the Soviet-era KGB, said Ukraine and Britain had planned a large-scale provocation using the hijacked aircraft, and that Ukrainian military intelligence had sought to recruit Russian pilots for $3 million to steal the fighter. The measures taken have thwarted the Ukrainian and British intelligence services' plans for a large-scale provocation, RIA cited the FSB as saying. State TV showed pictures of messages and recordings of a man who they said was working for Ukrainian and British intelligence and had offered $3 million to a Russian pilot to fly a MiG to Europe, and that the pilot had also been offered citizenship. Russia's Kinzhal is an air-launched ballistic missile that Moscow calls hypersonic, capable of very high speeds and maneuvering flight paths intended to make it difficult for air defenses to track and intercept Russia, has long cast Britain as its main enemy. Moscow accuses London of stoking the Ukraine war and British intelligence of helping Ukraine to mount a series of operations deep inside Russia. Britain casts the Russian invasion of Ukraine as an imperial-style land grab by Moscow. London has repeatedly warned that Russian intelligence is trying to sow mayhem across Britain and Europe to undermine democracy. Ukraine's general staff confirmed a strike on the Orsk oil refinery in Russia's Orenburg region. They hit a primary processing unit, sparking a fire. The plant, Orsk Nefteorg Zintez, processes up to 6.6 million tons of oil annually and produces over 30 types of petroleum products. Analysis by Cyber Baroshno confirms that Ukraine's strike on the Orsk refinery hit the vise-breaking unit, a key upgrade built between 2014 and 2015 at a cost of 5.5 billion rubles. This unit boosts fuel output, reduces heavy waste, and feeds the hydro-treating chain that produces high-grade diesel and gasoline. It has likely been put out of action. Excelinova's analysis suggests the drone strike on the Orsk refinery likely hit the LCH-24 2000 diesel hydro-treating unit, previously struck on November 3rd, or narrowly missed, impacting a fluid distillation pipe. The Ukrainian Defense Forces have engaged tanks to destroy the invaders in the town of Rodinska, which Russians need to block logistics in the Pokrovsk sector. The video of the tank's combat work in the city was published by journalist Yulia Kiriyenko. The armored vehicle was sent to knock out the Russian invaders from the southeastern part of Rodinska, where they had broken through for safety reasons. The crew took advantage of dense fog to make it harder for Russian FPV drones to detect and target the tank. Holding this settlement is key to supporting Ukrainian forces in the area of Mir Nohrad. In Mir Nohrad, Ukrainian units are confidently holding their positions and destroying the invaders on the outskirts of the city, the military said. At the same time, units of the defense forces are conducting counteroffensive actions in Pokrovsk and its western outskirts to stop further advance of the enemy on the southern flank. Russian troops are likely to still maintain control over the ground lines of communication, which complicates Ukrainian logistics. On November 10th, the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported that logistics to Mir Nohrad were complicated, but continued to function. The information about the enemy's full fire control over the logistics routes of the Ukrainian Defense Forces or the operational encirclement of the city is not true, Operational Command East representatives noted. The day before, the units defending the city received the necessary weapons and ammunition. They also rotated personnel and evacuated the wounded. In early November, the Ukrainian military eliminated groups of Russian infantry that were trying to infiltrate from the west in the area of Pokrovsk under the cover of fog. The commander of one of the units of the 218th Tank Regiment openly explained why there are so many missing soldiers in the Russian army.
Будете отказываться от задач своих, я вам мамой своей клянусь, детьми своими клянусь, я лично застрелю тебя. Каждого. Я подам без вести, а потом застрелю каждого. У меня похуй, у меня добро есть. Вы все, ваш весь замес, твари ебаные, кроме вон того человека. Вот. Вы все твари. Я вам говорю, докажите, что вы мужики.
And this is funny to watch. When will there be arrests and executions in our country? Russian propagandist Soloviev blames the CEO of the company Idol, Vladimir Vitukin, for the poorly designed humanoid robot that fell on stage during its presentation and threatens him.
I am in a state of mild rage. Yesterday, for some reason, there was a presentation of a humanoid robot in our country. Meanwhile, before this, we already had such robots. We showed them. There was the Fed, the robot. He did something there, manipulator. Listen, who are you trying to fool? Just explain. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? The company was recently created, and so they showed we're here, there, how great. Funds have already been allocated. I can't use profanity, but a lot to make it clear to everyone. And then to the music of rock, they bring a Russian person, an idol, onto the stage.
Two guys are walking with him, and he, in short, falls down.
They lift him up to the music and take him away. Already three. And what's the main thing? Faster, faster. Go say, let's get the material. Was this a film about how to steal state or private money? What was all this about? According to the general director of Idol, Vladimir Vitukin, the localization level has already reached 77%, and the target is 93%. The company LLC Idol was registered just a few months ago, but has already received support from a new technological coalition, which includes leading Russian IT and robotics companies. A source from RIA Novosti in the market reported that the cost of the Idol could range from 100 to 300 million rubles. I understand that Vladimir Vitukin will try to reach out to me to explain why so early. Vladimir, why did you crawl onto the stage? Why did you show this disgrace? Of the level of a children's toy, and someone found out the price from somewhere. What is your goal? To compromise the entire Russian IT and robotics company. Meanwhile, the Kung Fu robot? Elon Musk, who is meeting with our idol, who simply faints at the sight of an American robot. And if all our scientific and technical developments are at the same level as in the West, then I have only one question. When will there be arrests and executions in our country?
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.